corner of Baldwin and Lumpkin, next door to Park Hall. No, not Joe Frank. Any person who studies in Joseph E. Brown Hall knows how hard it is to not only get people to find the building, but to not get them lost while in the building. Welcome to the only place on campus where you can get so lost you end up on a staircase to nowhere. The same staircase that is supposedly haunted by the ghost of Joe Brown Hall. Joe Brown is home to the Comparative Lit department and the Germanic and Slavic department, so I decided to start by talking to some of the students who study there regularly.
Willkommen zu Joe Brown. Come on in.
Hannah is president of the German student organization and talked a bit more with me about what she really thought about Joe Brown as a building and whether or not she thinks a ghost resides in it.
I love Joe Brown because it reminds me of my high school, which was very old, and you can feel the character. There's ivy in one of the bathrooms. I think like all the decorations are cool. I'm inclined to believe in the ghost, even though, wait, I just forgot I don't believe in ghosts. That might be a conflict of interest. I heard that this is a door that they patched up, and what I heard was that like it's a door to where the boy lived. Like it might have been his dorm room door or his like hall door, but that they boarded it up.
The poster used to cover the door, now wall, is a picture of Goethe's apartment, which many students believe the German department put up in order to trap the ghost. I decided to see whether or not this was actually the case.
I'm not actually sure that the reaction was planned. So in that blocked off stairwell, we put that poster in of that receding doorway. I don't think it was put up in connection with the ghost or to foster the sense of this folklore. I think it was just it was kind of a lark. But ever since that time, students have connected that poster with the ghost. So it's a little bit serendipitous, I think.
So where does this ghost come from exactly? Dr. Sager was kind enough to share research that one of his students had conducted over the history of the ghost with me. After that reading, I did more reading, and more reading, and even more reading. There's actually a lot of academia on this ghost. Anyway, the general story goes as follows. When Joe Brown used to be a dorm, a body of a student was found over break one day. The student's name was Stanley Haddock, and even though the Red and Black negligently reported that he died of suicide, the actual results were not as conclusive. Regardless, when Joe Brown was renovated to become an academic building, they boarded up the wall that supposedly he resided in. The real question is, what kind of legacy does this ghost have today?
It was so fun to hear about, like, coming into this building, and maybe it's your freshman year or your sophomore year, and I was in my like entry-level German class, and it tied me to the building. Like I knew a piece of gossip about the building. Like it tethered me to it and gave me a leg up, and helped me feel connected to the space I was in.
There's been a persistent interest in that. Students are always very aware of the folklore. It passes from generation to generation of students. And has been increasing in the last couple of years, I've noticed, with students coming from other parts of campus and going to where the blocked off stairwell is.
But what I was really interested in was to see how the students who were in the building every day felt about it.
Joe Brown is a place where I feel really comfortable in. Since I'm from Germany, it's nice to have that family sense of people.
It's got a wonderful courtyard, which is a very important social space for the department. It is in a delightful part of campus.
I like having this being a smaller area where less people know about, since it seems more tightly knit.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of it's a little bit intangible, but students do seem to be attached to the building.
One of the studies I read talked about how ghost stories can create a sense of community on college campuses. If that is actually the case, then there's no better example than Joe Brown Hall, where every student feels at home. If you ever get the chance, make sure to visit this spot on campus. It's surely not one to be missed. And if you hear some noises at night, well, that's just a part of its charm.
We went too far. Her office is back there. That was the ghost.